The starship Aurora glided silently through the violet clouds of planet Zorath 9. Its sleek silver hull reflected the distant twin suns, casting a shimmer that danced across the planet's turbulent atmosphere. On board, the human crew prepared for their mission with calm efficiency, as though they were entering a routine day on Earth, even though the alien world below posed dangers that few could comprehend. Lieutenant Marcus Kane stood at the observation deck, his eyes tracing the swirling storms below. The planet's surface was scarred by recent seismic activity, leaving entire cities in ruin. His team's mission was simple in concept but monumental in scale: provide aid to the alien population affected by the disaster. Yet Marcus knew the challenge was more than just delivering supplies. It was earning the trust of a civilization that had never seen humans up close. "Lieutenant Kane," a voice called from behind. It was Dr. Elena Cross, the mission's medical officer. Her expression was calm but alert. "We're entering the atmosphere. Time to prepare the equipment." Marcus nodded, stepping back from the viewport. The human crew moved with practiced precision, assembling crates and devices that seemed massive even by Earth standards. Among them was one piece of equipment that immediately caught the attention of the alien observers stationed at the orbital docking platform. The alien nurse, Dr. Lena Vera, hovered near the observation bay, her 4 iridescent eyes fixed on the human device being prepared. Unlike most alien machinery, which was compact and required multiple operators, this single human contraption was enormous. Its polished metal surface gleamed under the ambient light, and various mechanical arms and modules jutted out from its core. From Lena's perspective, it seemed impossible that a single human could operate such a colossal tool. "What is that?" Lena whispered to her colleague, Technician Maros, who hovered beside her. "It's a human engineering device," Maros replied, his voice tinged with skepticism. "I've read about these on data logs, but the descriptions do not match what we're seeing." "It's huge, and there's only one operator?" Lena's 4 hands instinctively reached out, as if she could somehow grasp the sheer size of the device from afar. Her species, the Vayralians, had always valued teamwork and multi-person operation for large machinery. Even the heaviest lifts required a coordinated group. A single operator handling something of that scale was beyond comprehension. The Aurora descended through the dense clouds, guided by both human and alien navigation systems. The ground below was a mixture of rubble and makeshift shelters, survivors wandering in confusion, seeking aid wherever they could. Smoke rose from collapsed structures, and the faint cries of those trapped beneath the debris echoed across the valley. Lena's attention was drawn back to the humans as they began unloading their equipment. Marcus Kane led the team, moving with surprising ease for someone of average build. He carried components that seemed far too heavy, assembling them without hesitation. The colossal device, the one that had startled the alien nurses, was maneuvered into position by only Marcus and 2 of his crew. To Lena's astonishment, no additional assistance was required. "What? How?" Lena muttered under her breath. She stepped closer, her curiosity overpowering her caution. From the observation deck, she watched as Marcus connected various modules to the main device. Hydraulic arms extended with a hiss, clamps locked into place, and the tool seemed to come alive, almost as if it had a mind of its own. Maros leaned closer. "It's incredible. The data logs underestimated them. That one human alone is performing the work of what would take an entire Vayralian engineering team." Lena felt a strange mixture of awe and disbelief. She had spent years working in disaster relief and medical emergencies, and she had never encountered anything like this. The humans were not only strong, but they had designed technology that amplified their abilities in ways that her species could not replicate. A sudden tremor shook the station as another quake rippled through the planet's crust. Debris tumbled from nearby structures, and several injured aliens cried out in panic. Marcus didn't hesitate. With a quick command, the colossal human tool transformed, its modular arms adjusting automatically. Within moments, he was lifting heavy rubble, creating safe paths for trapped aliens. Lena's eyes widened. She had expected the human device to require a team, but Marcus moved with calm precision, handling tasks that would have taken dozens of Vayralians to complete. Every motion was deliberate, efficient, and astonishingly powerful. "Can one human really control that?" Lena whispered again, her voice barely audible. Maros shook his head. "Apparently. And not just control, it's like an extension of themselves. They anticipate what needs to be done before we even think of it." The humans continued their work, moving from site to site with unwavering focus. Their presence seemed to inspire the local population. Aliens who had been wandering aimlessly now followed the humans' lead, guided to safety and aided with supplies. Lena could see the admiration in the eyes of her own colleagues, but her astonishment was deeper. She had never witnessed a species combine intellect, strength, and technological mastery in such a way. For the first time, Lena began to wonder if humans were more than just another intelligent species. Their ingenuity, adaptability, and calm under pressure suggested a capability that her people had never seen. And yet, there was humility in their actions. Marcus and his team never sought recognition or applause. They focused entirely on the task at hand. As the hours passed, the disaster site began to transform. Collapsed structures were stabilized, makeshift shelters were reinforced, and injured aliens were assisted with care and precision. All the while, Marcus's colossal tool continued to operate flawlessly, its modular arms performing tasks that seemed impossible for any one individual. Finally, as the twin suns began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the valley, Lena found herself standing closer than ever to the human crew. Marcus was adjusting one of the tool's final modules when he noticed her. "You're Dr. Vera, right?" he asked, his voice calm and friendly, even though he was covered in dust and grime. Lena nodded, unsure how to respond. She had expected humans to be physically imposing, perhaps even intimidating, but Marcus radiated confidence without arrogance. His presence was reassuring, a stark contrast to the chaos around them. I've never seen anything like that tool," she admitted, gesturing toward the massive device. How do you operate something so enormous alone?" Marcus smiled faintly. "It's not just the tool, it's training, teamwork, and understanding. The tool is designed to work with humans, just as your systems are designed to work with Vairalians. It amplifies what we can do." Lena studied him carefully. She could see the truth in his words. Humans had a way of making difficult tasks look simple, of turning immense challenges into manageable steps. She realized that her astonishment was not merely at the device itself, but at the human capability to wield it so naturally. As night fell over Zorath 9, Lena remained near the humans, watching them prepare for the next day of work. She felt a mixture of admiration, curiosity, and a strange sense of hope. These humans were unlike any species she had encountered. They were strong, intelligent, and adaptable in ways that made them extraordinary. For the first time, Lena understood that the humans were not just visitors to her world. They were a force of ingenuity, a reminder of what a species could achieve when intellect, strength, and creativity were combined. And the colossal human tool, which had seemed impossible at first glance, was just one small example of their remarkable abilities. As she drifted back to her quarters that night, Lena could not shake the thought that this encounter would change everything she knew about humans and perhaps, in time, change the way her people approach challenges in technology forever. The following morning, the valley of Zorath 9 was alive with movement. Alien survivors, cautiously optimistic after the humans' arrival, moved through the temporary shelters, assisting each other and taking advantage of the safe pathways that Marcus Kane and his team had created the day before. The humans worked quietly but efficiently, their massive tool now a familiar sight, operating almost like an extension of their own bodies. Dr. Lena Vera arrived at the disaster site early. Sleep had not come easily. Her mind had been restless all night, thinking about the colossal human tool and the effortless way Marcus wielded it. In all her years as a Vairalian nurse and disaster response specialist, she had never seen a single operator handle machinery that large with such precision. Lena's 4 hands moved nervously as she observed the humans preparing their equipment for another day of work. She had spent the night studying the tool from her quarters via holographic scans, trying to understand its mechanics. Yet the more she looked, the less it made sense. How could one human manage something so enormous without a team? Her species prided itself on coordinated effort, where even the simplest operations required multiple individuals to synchronize perfectly. Maros, her colleague, joined her at the observation point. "Still amazed?" he asked with a teasing smile. Lena barely responded. "It's impossible. One human alone, and yet they lift, repair, and stabilize structures that would take a dozen of us to manage." "How?" Maros shook his head. "I don't know. I thought the logs had exaggerated, but seeing it in person, there's no exaggeration. The morning air over Zorath 9 was sharp and electric, carrying the faint smell of ozone from the previous night's aftershocks. Dr. Lena Vera arrived early at the temporary command hub, her four hands lightly tapping on the railing as she surveyed the scene. The humans were already active, preparing their equipment and consulting their data pads with quiet determination. Marcus Kane stood beside the colossal device, inspecting its modular components, while his teammates checked sensors and stabilizers. Lena felt her pulse quicken. Today she had decided she would observe more closely. She wanted to understand exactly how one human could wield a machine so enormous, a device that had left even the most experienced Vayralian engineers in awe. Her curiosity was now more than professional. It was personal. She had to know the secret of human adaptability. "Good morning, Dr. Vera," Marcus greeted, noticing her approach. His voice was calm, yet carried a warmth that made her four hearts flutter with anticipation. "We're about to start the day. Do you want to observe from here or closer?" Lena hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward. I want to see everything." "As closely as possible," she said. Her words were careful, but her eagerness was clear. Marcus nodded. "All right. Just stay behind the safety line. The tool is big but precise. As long as you respect the parameters, you'll be safe." The humans moved into position. Marcus activated the colossal tool, its mechanical arms extending with a low hum. Gears and hydraulics moving in perfect synchronization. Lena's eyes widened at the sheer elegance of the machine in motion. Every movement was deliberate, yet it seemed to flow like liquid. Marcus picked up a heavy metallic beam from the wreckage nearby. Lena watched in disbelief as he maneuvered it with ease, placing it perfectly over a collapsed doorway. The tool's arm extended, rotated, and locked it into place, all controlled by a single operator. She couldn't stop herself from leaning forward, trying to absorb every detail of the process. "Do you see that?" Maros whispered beside her. "That's not just strength, that's coordination, prediction, and control all in one. The human doesn't just lift the beam. He anticipates how it will fit, adjusts for balance, and stabilizes it simultaneously." Lena's hands twitched nervously. She had never seen such mastery of both machine and environment. Even her own species, renowned for teamwork and precision, relied on coordinated groups to achieve similar results. Marcus and his tool were achieving it alone. "Would you like to try?" Marcus suddenly asked, turning toward her with a faint smile. Lena froze, caught off guard. "Try? Me?" she asked. Her voice trembled slightly. She was trained in disaster relief, skilled in medical procedures, yet this machine seemed almost alive. Impossible to handle. "Yes," Marcus said calmly. "I'll guide you. The machine responds to thought and movement more than raw strength. You won't break it, and you might even learn something from the experience." Lena hesitated. Pride warred with curiosity. Her species had always been cautious, often deferring to machines as extensions of multiple operators. Yet here was a human offering her the chance to learn firsthand, to feel what it was like to wield such power. She nodded slowly, determination settling in. "All right, I'll try." Marcus guided her to the controls. The interface was surprisingly intuitive. Buttons, levers, and touchpads responded with minimal resistance, designed to accommodate human reflexes. Lena's four hands moved hesitantly over the controls, unsure how much pressure to apply. The colossal tool whirred as if sensing her presence, its arms twitching slightly. "Just start small," Marcus instructed. "Lift the beam there," he said, pointing to a lighter piece of rubble. "Take your time. The tool will respond to your movements, not against them." Lena inhaled deeply and activated the controls. To her amazement, the tool moved exactly as she intended. She lifted the rubble and placed it on a stable surface without difficulty. The sensation was unlike anything she had experienced. It was as if the machine became part of her own body, translating her intentions into precise movements. Maros, standing nearby, raised an eyebrow in astonishment. "I can't believe she's doing it already," he murmured. "Most Vayralians would take hours, maybe days to adjust. She's intuitive." Encouraged, Lena tried a slightly larger task, a twisted metal panel blocking access to a collapsed passageway. She hesitated as she examined it, then focused, moving the controls carefully. The tool obeyed flawlessly. Lena could feel a strange exhilaration building in her chest. It was not just the power of the machine. It was the realization that humans had designed tools to amplify adaptability, not just strength. See? You're already getting it, Marcus said encouragingly. It's not just about moving things. It's about thinking ahead, predicting outcomes, and letting the machine help you. Lena nodded, her 4 hands gripping the controls with growing confidence. She began experimenting with more complex maneuvers, rotating panels to fit collapsed corridors, extending the arms to reach distant rubble, and using multiple tool functions simultaneously. Each success bolstered her understanding and her respect for the human crew. As she worked, Lena realized that the machine's brilliance was twofold. First, it amplified physical capacity, allowing one human to perform tasks that required teams of aliens. Second, it fostered creativity. Lena found herself improvising new ways to use the device, adjusting angles, combining functions, and experimenting with techniques that Marcus had not demonstrated. Marcus observed quietly, letting her explore. He knew that the real lesson was not in teaching her every step, but in allowing her to discover the principles herself. Human ingenuity, after all, was built on trial, error, and adaptation. By giving Lena freedom to experiment, he was sharing not just a machine but a philosophy. Hours passed. Lena moved from one collapsed structure to another, using the colossal tool to clear paths, stabilize shelters, and even lift supplies for survivors. She began to feel a profound connection to the humans around her. They were not just skilled, they were mentors in ingenuity, exemplars of adaptability, and models of calm determination in the face of overwhelming challenges. During a brief pause, Lena stepped back and examined the tool. It had become almost an extension of her own body in these few hours. She marveled at its design, the fluidity of its movement, and the subtle intelligence embedded in its programming. Yet what impressed her most was not the machine itself. It was the human ability to operate it with such precision, creativity, and foresight. "You've learned quickly," Marcus said, smiling as he approached. "Most operators take days to reach this level. You have a good instinct for it." Lena's 4 eyes widened slightly. "Instinct? It feels more natural than I expected. But I still don't understand how you do this every day. How do humans manage to combine planning, execution, and improvisation so effortlessly?" Marcus shrugged. "It's practice, observation, and willingness to adapt. Humans are taught to think critically, act decisively, and adjust on the fly. The machine helps, but the operator is the key. It's not just strength, it's understanding." Lena nodded thoughtfully. She realized that humans were extraordinary, not just because of technology, but because of their minds. Their ability to analyze, adapt, and innovate made them capable of feats that alien machinery, no matter how advanced, could not achieve alone. As the day ended and the twin suns dipped behind the horizon, casting long purple shadows over the valley, Lena felt a sense of awe she had never experienced before. She had not only observed the humans in action, she had participated, learning firsthand the remarkable harmony of mind, skill, and technology. When she returned to the command hub, Lena reflected on what she had learned. The humans had not only demonstrated their capability, they had shown a way of thinking, a philosophy of ingenuity, and an approach to problem-solving that was entirely new to her species. She understood now that their true strength was not merely physical or technological, but intellectual and adaptable. Lena knew that the days ahead would reveal even more about humans, their machines, and the ways in which their ingenuity could inspire change. But for now, she allowed herself a small, quiet admiration. These humans, this team, were extraordinary, and the colossal tool, once impossible in her mind, had become a symbol of human brilliance, a reminder that one individual could accomplish what an entire team of her own species could not. For the first time, Lena felt not just curiosity but determination. She wanted to learn more. She wanted to understand the humans, their machines, and their methods. She wanted to see how far ingenuity, adaptability, and courage could take a species, and perhaps one day, integrate some of these lessons into her own work to help her people in ways she had never imagined. The twin suns of Zorath 9 rose over the fractured horizon, painting the sky with streaks of gold and violet. The valley below was quiet, save for the distant sound of shifting rubble as the unstable ground adjusted to its new scars. The human team, led by Marcus Kane, was already at work before most of the alien staff had even stirred. Their colossal tool stood at the center of the relief zone, gleaming in the morning light, a symbol of human strength and ingenuity. Dr. Lena Vera arrived with a sense of anticipation. The previous day had changed her perspective forever. She had not only observed the human's extraordinary device, but had also operated it herself, feeling for the first time the harmony between. The valley had grown quieter in the days since the aftershocks. Many shelters were rebuilt, survivors had been moved to safer areas, and the human team had earned the respect of every alien in the relief zone. The colossal tool stood like a sentinel in the center of the camp, its giant arms folded, its polished surface reflecting the alien suns. Dr. Lena Vera had spent those days working closely with Marcus Kane and his crew. She had learned the rhythm of their teamwork, the way they trusted one another without hesitation. She had even operated the colossal tool again, though never without Marcus nearby. Each experience left her with more questions, and each answer made her respect the humans more. But on the morning of the 7th day, the fragile calm broke. The warning, a low hum, rose from deep within the ground, unlike the sharp quakes they had faced before. Lena froze where she stood, her ears twitching. This vibration was slower, heavier, almost like the planet itself was groaning. Dust fell from the cliffside and animals fled the forest edge, their calls sharp with panic. Maros, who had been delivering supplies, shouted, "Something is happening beneath us!" "The scanners, check the scanners." Harris rushed to a console and pulled up readings. His face paled. "It's not an aftershock. It's worse. There's a magma pocket pushing upward. The ground here is unstable. If it bursts, the entire valley could collapse." The words spread through the camp like fire. Aliens panicked, voices rising in fear. The shelters they had built, the safety they had worked so hard to create, could vanish in minutes. Marcus slammed his hand on the console. "Everyone stay calm. We need a plan." He turned to his crew. "If the valley floor gives way, hundreds will die. We have to redirect the pressure before it bursts." Lena stepped forward, her heart's racing. "Redirect? How?" Marcus's gaze hardened. "We'll have to dig release channels fast. The tool can carve through the rock and let the pressure vent away from the camp." Race against time, within minutes the humans were at work. The colossal tool roared to life, its arms unfolding with mechanical grace, its drill and stabilizers extended, glowing with raw energy. Marcus climbed into the primary controls, while Lena, without hesitation, joined at the secondary station. "You're with me," Marcus said firmly. "We'll need 2 operators to keep it balanced." Lena nodded, her hands moving to the controls. She no longer felt like an outsider. She was part of the team now, and the responsibility weighed on her. The ground trembled again, stronger this time. A deep crack split the valley floor, sending tremors through their feet. Aliens screamed, rushing toward higher ground. "Focus," Marcus barked. "We don't have long." The tool's massive drill bit plunged into the earth, grinding against stone. Sparks and dust flew as the humans worked. Harris monitored the heat levels, shouting updates. Elena coordinated evacuations, her calm voice guiding terrified civilians. Every crew member had a role, and every second mattered. The strain operating the tool was harder than Lena remembered. The ground was alive beneath them, shifting with every tremor. Each adjustment required precision, and the strain pressed on her mind and body. "Hold steady, Lena," Marcus said, his voice calm but urgent. "Follow the rhythm of the ground, not the panic in your head." She focused, aligning the colossal arms to carve a path through unstable rock. Sweat dampened her skin, but she refused to falter. Together, she and Marcus guided the machine, cutting a trench that would channel the pressure away. But the ground fought back. A violent shudder nearly threw Lena from her seat as a new fissure tore open nearby. Lava glowed faintly in the crack, an ominous reminder of what lay beneath. Harris shouted, "The pressure's rising too fast." "The trench won't be enough," Marcus cursed under his breath. "Then we make more trenches. Push harder." The colossal tool groaned under the strain. Its arms shivered, its systems overloaded by the furious demands of its operators. Warning lights flashed across the panels. "We're pushing it too far," Lena cried. Marcus gritted his teeth. "So are we. But we don't stop. Not until it's done." Breaking limits, the trench widened, but the readings still climbed. The magma pocket was rising faster than they could dig. For the first time, Lena felt fear that they might fail. Then Marcus's voice cut through her panic. "We need something bigger. Forget small channels. We go straight through the ridge wall. Open a vent directly to the canyon." Lena stared at him. "That's impossible. The rock there is solid. It could collapse the machine." Or it could save everyone, Marcus replied. His eyes locked on hers, steady and unyielding. Do you trust me? The question struck her harder than the tremors. Did she? She thought of everything she had seen. Humans lifting beams, holding collapsing shelters, trusting one another without hesitation. They didn't wait for certainty. They acted together. Lena tightened her grip on the controls. I trust you. Marcus gave a sharp nod. Then let's do it. The vent, they swung the colossal tool toward the ridge wall. The drill extended, spinning with ferocious power. The first strike sent shockwaves through the camp. Dust and boulders rained down, but the machine held firm. Together, Marcus and Lena pushed the drill deeper, carving through solid stone. The vibrations rattled their bones, and the machine screamed with stress, but they did not stop. Keep it steady, Marcus yelled. I'm with you, Lena replied, her 4 hands flying across the controls. The trench into the ridge grew wider, deeper, until finally the drill broke through. A roar like thunder erupted as hot air and pressure blasted outward, rushing into the canyon beyond. The ground shook violently one last time, then stilled. The deep hum faded. The readings on Harris's console dropped sharply. The magma pocket had found its release. They had done it. Aftermath. The camp erupted in cheers. Survivors fell to their knees in relief, their cries of fear replaced by gratitude. Elena embraced a child she had carried from the shelters. Harris leaned against a console, exhausted but smiling. Lena sat back, her entire body trembling. Her hands ached, her mind was drained, but her heart soared. For the first time, she felt not just like an observer, but like a true member of the human team. Marcus exhaled slowly, his hands still on the controls. He turned to her, a tired grin on his face. Not bad for your first real crisis. Lena laughed weakly, shaking her head. I thought we were finished, but you believed we could do it. Marcus shrugged. Belief is half the battle. The rest is doing it anyway. She looked at him, realizing something profound. The tool was impressive, yes, but it was only a reflection of the humans themselves. Their real strength was the courage to act even when failure seemed certain. The trust to face the impossible together. As the suns dipped low, painting the sky with fire, Lena walked among the camp. Survivors bowed to her, thanking her for her role, but she deflected their praise, pointing instead to the humans. They are the reason we stand here, she told them. Remember what they did today. And in her heart, Lena knew this was only the beginning. She had witnessed the breaking point, and the humans had pushed past as the twin suns of Zorath 9 were setting, casting a golden glow across the valley. The aftermath of the crisis was still visible. The trenches carved into the ridge, the stabilized shelters, and the exhausted but alive survivors. For the first time in days, the valley felt calm, peaceful, almost hopeful. Dr. Lena Vera stood beside Marcus Kane, watching the human crew dismantle the colossal tool and store it safely. Despite their exhaustion, there was a sense of quiet satisfaction in their movements. Every action was purposeful, efficient, and calm. Lena's 4 hands were folded behind her back, her eyes reflecting awe and thoughtfulness. She thought back to the first day the humans had arrived, to the moment she had seen the colossal tool and doubted that a single human could operate it. She remembered her disbelief, her skepticism, and how wrong she had been. The tool had not only moved mountains, literally and figuratively, but had shown her something far greater, the ingenuity, courage, and adaptability of the human species. Reflections. Lena walked among the survivors, her heart's beating steadily, absorbing the gratitude around her. The alien spoke in low tones, pointing to Marcus, Elena, Harris, and the other humans, praising them for their courage. Yet Lena noticed how modest the humans were. They did not seek recognition or glory. They worked because it was necessary, because it was right, because they understood the responsibility of their abilities. She turned to Maros, who was quietly cataloging structural data from the trenches. Maros, do you see it now? Do you understand why I was so amazed? Maros nodded slowly. Yes, but it's more than that, isn't it? It's not just the tool. It's the humans themselves. Their mind, their instincts, their willingness to act when everything seems impossible. That's what makes them extraordinary. Lena exhaled softly. She realized he was right. The colossal tool had been impressive, but it was merely a symbol of human ingenuity. The real marvel was in the humans' decision-making, their courage to act, their trust in one another, and their ability to turn disaster into opportunity. Teaching and sharing. The evening was quiet. Survivors had been settled into safe areas, and the humans began packing their supplies. Lena approached Marcus once more, her hands resting lightly on the railing of the temporary hub. "Lieutenant Kane," she began, her voice calm but full of wonder, "I want to thank you for everything you've done and for showing me more than I could have imagined." Marcus smiled. "Bruce,